Hey everybody, Michael Snyder here, California Weather Watch. Today's July 28th, and right now we're looking at the visible satellite imagery, and you can see the sun rising across the southwest here. You can see some of that marine layer up and down the California coastline. Monsoon moisture trying to make its way up into Southern California and Arizona here, and that will be the story here coming up as we go through the weekend into later next week. Surge of monsoon moisture coming across the area, and then the potential for another big ridge to build here across the southwest as well. So we'll take a look at those details here coming up in a moment. This is Southern California weather history. 1958 here. Look at Tropical Storm 5 moved up the coast of Baja California. So it does happen at times, and you can see some of the storm totals there across some of the higher terrain. For the most part, look at Palm Springs, even got a quarter of an inch there also. And then 1995, some thunderstorms with some microbursts. Power poles knocked down here, and there's some intense heat as well. Some Palm Springs tied an all-time record high reaching 123. So pretty impressive stuff here. And you can see this 594 dam, 500 millibar, 18,000 feet, strong ridge of high pressure dominates the west. But this is, they call this strong here. The one coming up here is like 597, kind of in a similar area. And we'll look at that here in a moment here. So this ridges has been setting up here across the southwest USA have been no joke. And we've seen that in some of the temperature records there at Phoenix, for example. This is San Diego, California. Rain chances for today. You can see across the higher terrain, this is going to start creeping in to some of Southern California here, even an outside chance across some of Big Bear Lake here for a thunderstorm. And some of the models, again, are even showing some precipitation across San Diego and even Los Angeles as we go through the early portion of next week. We'll take a look at those details here in a moment. This is the downward temperature trend here, so not bad, pretty seasonable here across some of the valley areas. You can see Bakersfield dropping down to maybe 98 by the time you get on towards the early portion next week. Some monsoon moisture trying to make its way over the region here. Look at Death Valley, bring a jacket all the way down to 115 degrees. This is looking at excessive heat warning. Still going through this for some of the interior areas near Las Vegas, for example. And you can see this goes through Saturday, July 29th here. Some of the afternoon highs still pretty incredibly high. And this is going to be on a downward trend here as we go through the later portion of the weekend on and through early next week, which we'll see in the temperature graphs here in a moment. Look at Phoenix, though. Increasing this weekend. Look at some of these chances up above 50-50 there all the way into Southern California here. Some gusty winds. All these storms contain the potential for some deadly lightning there. So this was issued this morning by Phoenix, Arizona. Nice graphic there. And this is total days with 115 degrees or higher. And Phoenix has set their all-time record here. They broke that one back in 2020. So we've got 15 days now of 115 plus or higher. Pretty impressive heat ongoing. And look at this. So we're going to have a couple more warm days today, tomorrow, and then we drop back down here. So watch out there. You're going to cool down. Bring a jacket across Phoenix there, right? But then look at this ridge. And the models have been underdoing these temperatures a lot of times during the afternoon hours. But look at some of these temperatures showing up in the extended forecast. There still is some model disagreement on just how strong this ridge is going to be and just where its placement is going to be. But a pretty impressive signal looking right now. Still technically fantasy, but it's getting closer here, folks. And you can see some of the precipitation chances down there all the way across the Phoenix metro as well. This is for, I believe, Tucson, Arizona. It is, and you can see the chances here. This is Friday afternoon and evening. You can see all the way down towards Tucson here, and better chances the further you go north and east. Today, you're not looking too good there across Phoenix, but this is definitely going to be on the upswing up through this weekend into early next week. High temperature forecast. Look at these, nice and seasonable here. I mean, this looks pretty darn warm if you're from the Pacific Northwest or something, but this is not bad at all. Quite comfortable here across some of the valley areas. And of course, if you really want the chilly stuff, go out to the coastline here. Look at Death Valley yesterday, 125, and portions of Montana and Utah actually got a little bit below freezing there. So pretty big swings here across a lot of the Intermountain West. And yeah, pretty impressive stuff there for Death Valley as well. So we're looking at the GFS now, last night's run. This is 18,000 feet, 500 millibars. And there's that 597 ridge here. And kind of keep it around for a couple more days here. But then as we go through Sunday, you can clearly see that ridge starting to push off. And you see this monsoon surge. You can see that weakness there on the western periphery of this ridge that kicks off to the east. And that's what's going to bring that moisture across the area here. So this is what we're banking on across some of the region, potentially bringing some precip into California, Nevada, and across portions of Arizona, of course, known as a monsoon surge. But then watch as we go through the extended as this ridge really starts to build again over the area. And we talked about this day in weather history where they showed that 594. This is a 597 ridge there. And this one's getting up towards 600 here. And you can see it right there across portions of Arizona. So very intense ridge coming up in our extended forecast here. A little bit of differences on the position and just how strong this is going to get. But look at this 600. It goes all the way across Southern California, Southern Nevada. Almost the entire state of Arizona would be underneath this monster heat dome here as we go through the extended. As you can see, it kind of hangs out for a bit here too. So hopefully something changes with this forecast coming up. This is the GFS ensemble. This is the average of all 30 ensemble means. The ensembles try to correct for any errors we may have in our forecasting. And then when we get an average from that, you get a better idea of what potentially is coming. But you can clearly see the weakness at 18,000 feet, allowing for some monsoon moisture coming up here through early next week. Ridge is off to the east, but then you can see the rebound here as we go through the extended. And even the ensemble mean has 597 as an ensemble mean here across portions of New Mexico and Arizona. And you can see that extend out almost all the way to Southern California here. So pretty impressive signal here on the GFS. Now taking a look at the European versus itself, ensemble mean. This is yesterday afternoon versus yesterday morning. You can see Washington, California, Arizona here. The Hawaiian Islands out way off to the bottom left here. Put it into motion. You can see the ridge still bouncing around, but then you can see the monsoon moisture try to make a surge up across the area here. And then we build this ridge, and kind of comparing model run to model run. Not too much of, not too bad here. You can see actually yesterday afternoon's model run, the ensemble mean up over 600 here. So very impressive heat dome building on the European as well. It kind of bouncing around here and maybe some relief coming towards the end of the run, but that's kind of far out there. And right now, this is technically still fantasy forecast just because it's still a ways out there. It's still over a week out. So it's just something we're watching right now, but definitely a strong signal for a big warm up here as we go through the early portion of August yet again. Day one thunderstorm outlook, check it out. Severe or strong storms down here across southern Arizona, and you can see the thunderstorm potential moving in towards California and not that far from Las Vegas here. There's day two, probably bubbling into Southern California as well. This is looking at the European last night's run, lightning flash density potential as we go through today. This is Friday afternoon showing. You can see the thunderstorms trying to creep into California here across Arizona. We go through Saturday. This is not yet the big monsoon moisture surge just yet. Here we go into Sunday afternoon and evening shown there. You can see it kind of creeping up into California a bit more, maybe getting towards Vegas there in Sunday afternoon and night. And then as we go through Monday, look at this, the surge continues here across some of the Southwest here. So yeah, the good thing is this surge is coming. The bad news is that that ridge really sets up over. It's really going to suppress the monsoon moisture, and that we'll look at here in the probability outlooks. This is 6 to 10 day. This goes through August 6th. And let's go ahead and check out the 8 to 14 day now. And you can see that ridge kind of nosing its way back into our business here across the area, and temperatures trending above average through the August 10th period. This is the 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook here. And this is starting to come in after that monsoon moisture surge. And now it's looking like a little bit of a suppression here for the monsoon. And it will be if that ridge does set up shop here. 8 to 14 day as well. You can clearly see the models and the forecast here picking up on the suppression of the monsoon as we go through the extended forecast. Here's a 24-hour running total here, precipitation. You can see the afternoon hours Sunday, and we're going into Monday morning here. This is Monday afternoon. You can see some of that getting up into the higher terrain of California. Some of the desert areas can't rule out thunderstorms as well, up towards Vegas, into this interior sections of Nevada even. Tuesday afternoon, kind of see that surge work its way north. Then this ridge starts to build back in here, and look at this. We're kind of suppressing this precipitation here, and kind of dramatically so. If this ridge does set up shop, we're really going to shut down the monsoon here in early August. This would be pretty brutal, folks. So hopefully something changes here as we go up in through this week plus period. Muggy on rim out here. We've been talking about this. If you've been watching the comments here, we've been having some help kind of going through how to pronounce that there. But you can see the nice terrain features here across Arizona, Phoenix, Yuma. And then there's the higher terrain off to the east and the south and the north and the east there. And there's the Grand Canyon, if you're wondering, up there across northern Arizona. So look at Big Bear City here. All the ensemble runs have some kind of precipitation on the GFS as of yesterday afternoon, I believe it was. Yes, it is. And this is Los Angeles. We've been getting this up uptrend here, even getting a little bit of precipitation out to the Los Angeles metro. Do you believe? Yeah, so kind of interesting stuff here. San Diego, look at this. There's only a few Ensemble members that don't have measurable precipitation getting to the San Diego. This is the airport here, folks. This is not in the higher terrain. This is actually out towards the coastal region here. So cross your fingers. Maybe we'll get some action out of this after all. San Francisco, even one of the Ensemble runs, throwing a little bone there. But yeah, for the most part, not expecting precipitation up across the Bay Area out of the setup. Las Vegas here, all the ensembles again, some of them pretty impressive amounts here as well. Some of them getting up over an inch there, but you can see the mean down towards 0.4 of an inch here. But it doesn't take much rainfall over a short period of time to cause some pretty extreme flooding across the desert areas. And if you've lived out there for any length of time, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I've seen just a couple tenths of an inch when I lived in Tonopah, Nevada, caused some pretty nasty gully washers and really washed out some big areas there of the topsoil and whatnot. Yeah, so pretty interesting stuff here. We got to watch out for flooding with this monsoon surge coming through here. Eureka, I've been showing this every day here, kind of a novelty, showing just how moderate the temperatures are across Northern California, especially across the coastal areas all the way down to the Bay Area, even down to Southern California. It doesn't warm up too much here unless you get those offshore winds. This is San Francisco, something similar here as well. This is Sacramento. Check it out. You can see the cool down coming as we go through the mid portion of the week. Some of that monsoon surge trying to move up over the area there. Then the bounce back with the ridge. We don't know what the extent of this ridge is going to be just yet. You can see it is still a ways out there. This is Las Vegas. You can clearly see the monsoon moisture here in the surge and then the just brutal heat potentially returning. And the models have been underdoing some of these temperatures here. A lot of times the GFS has been saying 115, 116 for Phoenix, and it's been hitting 118 and 119. So just a heads up there. And look at some of this rainfall. That's up over 1/4 inch here showing up. That would be pretty interesting for Las Vegas here down there on the strip, and the surrounding terrain could even get more across some of the higher terrain as well. Could cause some flooding concerns. We'll be watching that closely. Here we go, July 1st to July 27th. You can clearly see the west has been very warm here. The East Coast as well, and across the plains below average, but we're up over 1.16 Fahrenheit above average for the month of July now, and this is the big west and east yin and yang so far this year, although we are going to be eating away at these temperatures again if that big heat dome does set up in our extended. And here we go, California doing pretty good, low risk for the most part, but across lower elevations, things are drying out, so heads up for the potential fire starts here. Across the higher terrain, there's still some snowpack up there and things are doing much better, but across Arizona, you're looking at windy and dry conditions and potential for some dry lightning starts here as well. The thunderstorms, aren't producing enough precipitation in some cases to put out any fires that they may cause, so that's why that threat exists out there. This is the slider, so let's take a look. This is way back towards October of last year, and look at some of the west here. I mean, there's exceptional extreme drought, a lot of severe drought, moderate drought all over the place, and watch as we go to current, just wiping the slate clean for lots of Colorado, Utah, Arizona. Look at Nevada's drastic improvement, and California, the big winner. I mean, look at that, just erasing huge portions of drought here. The only place really that reversed a little bit here was Washington. Actually, it's doing a little bit better than it was. But anyway, yeah, across the Southwest here, really doing much better as far as drought conditions are concerned here. I mean, California, you couldn't ask for more compared to where we were during last fall. But anyway, yeah, you can see some of this monsoon moisture trying to come to life here, and it's probably going to get a pretty good surge here across the area. And as we get closer to it, we'll get the high-resolution models involved, and we'll check out what areas are going to be susceptible to some flooding. Is that just a pipe dream for some precip out over the lower elevations of California here, or maybe into the valley areas? And we'll see. We'll take a look at it. We'll keep monitoring this day by day. But yeah, so anyway, I hope you guys are liking these videos. Click like and subscribe. Leave some comments below. We'll do this again tomorrow, and I will talk to you guys then.